How do you spot an aging millennial? We make YouTube videos about fitting shelves. Stick around though, because today we're unboxing, fitting and giving our first impressions on the Yes Campervan shelves for the California Ocean wardrobes. So before we go and unbox and have a look at these shelves and then try and fit them, it's probably worthwhile just explaining why we've gone and got shelves for our California. And it all comes down to storage utilization. If you've seen our video last year on the Spacemate, that was for us to try and get a bit more control over the rear boot area, because it's just this big old massive void that just infuriated us. And we've been trying to do the same thing with the rest of the van. One of those areas is the wardrobe. And for those who have a camper van, for those who have a California, you'll probably know that that area isn't a huge area. You can fit a couple of clothes hanging up, anything long, usually you can't. Realistically, it's more beneficial to use packing cubes and just pile things up. But that's part of the problem, because certainly on the California, you've got a tambour door and it rotates around the cupboard. That means that if you load it up with packing cubes, quite often you can't get that door open because it's clipping on the cubes. You can get around it, it's just frustrating. But then there's another challenge, which is as a camping trip progresses, with 2 kids especially, it ends up being a bit of a free-for-all. And what you end up having is random pajamas finding their way in, dirty clothes thrown in. So what we've done is we reached out to Yes Campervan. Now, if you don't know who Yes Campervan are, I'll explain. Yes Campervan is a really small company owned by a chap called Joe. Now, Joe has a California, has a young family, and Joe spotted an opportunity. So one of the first products he made was a chopping board surface for his California, because his California doesn't have the 2 split sides, and so wanted somewhere to put things when the glass top was up. The other one he then did was shelves for the wardrobe. So in the interest of transparency, because I feel it's important, we've not been asked to do this review. This is something that we approached Joe on and Yes Campervan. Our views are our own, and we'll be open, transparent and honest on what we think. I mean, we've not even opened them yet, so we don't really know what to expect. But with that said, let's get to it, and proof will be in the pudding. So we're now in the van, obviously. And you know what's dawned on me? Just how much random whatnot gets left in here. Oh, there's bedding. More bedding. That'll be nice and stale. Another tooth. Where did I put the other tooth? There is a different toothbrush. Now, I don't think there's anything, nothing screws into the actual body of the van. It's all through self-adhesive tape. So we'll give it a go. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use this little fella in there and hopefully get you some better shots. Let's just give it a go. So I now know what we need to do, which is always a good start. So this fella here. So this one is part B, I think part B, and that goes here. So right behind part in effect the front part half of the wardrobe. And that just secures using the self-adhesive strips here, and the holes here are to help line up. Then we've got a couple of others. We've got this fella here. So this one is what varies between the 6.1 and the 6. If you've got a 6.1, you're only, where's it gone? Here it is. Here's one I made earlier. You're going to have 2 of these, and they sit at 26 centimetres apart against the far end of the wardrobe. If you've got a T6, you've got this chunky one. So inside that panel, what there is, I'm going to use this little fella to show you, is there is a little rail, if you can see up there, it goes all the way along, and likewise down at the bottom there. Now what this does is this sits using that sticky tape the other way around, and so it creates a small gap for the tambour door to fit beneath or behind. Quite clever actually. So what we're going to do now, we're going to screw these in, and then once they're screwed in, oh actually they're threaded already, so that's even better. Then we're going to fit it on, and then that will be the first part of the shelves done, hopefully. For the sake of ease, I'm just going to go for the middle setting on this shelf, because we can adjust it based on need as we get there. And worth keeping in mind when you're doing this, guys, make sure the back's at the back, not at the front. Not saying I've done that and I've just not put it on the video, but I have to say it's been rather painless so far. I was thinking this was gonna be a nightmare video and I was gonna make a real idiot of myself. I mean, that's probably still the case. Right, okay, so that's all screwed in. So the next one is putting this on. What I'm gonna do is start with this one first. Hi, it's future me. Now, watching this video back just as I'm editing, I've realised that actually the part I just picked up is part B. That's why I didn't have any vertical reference. If you use part A, which is the tambour door cover, that'll actually give you your vertical reference and mean you can then do part B easier. Now, this goes in line, according to the instructions, in line with, let me show you on the other camera. So see this piece here? So it's almost like it goes in line with that vertical. The challenge is I'm not parked level at the moment. So even with a spirit level, it's not going to be great. And all of those corners and whatnot are not perpendicular. So I have no reference point other than the floor. But we're going to give it a go. Now this is always my worst nightmare. These are always so finicky. All right, one strip. There's no going back now. It's going to be stuck to me or the van. Hopefully the van. Oh, look at that, I'm getting a pro at this. Command strips, eat your heart out. No going back. No going back. Right. In we go. So that's where it needs to go there. We shall see whether that's good enough, because the next bit is 13.5 centimetres long. I now need to put this fella. Don't ask me why all these pieces are fellas, by the way. I mean, it's not very diverse. 13.5 puts us there. Right. Now I probably should write something down on here, but I get the impression that as long as I don't block the tambour door, happy days. Now this is the brilliant thing actually with the shelves for the T6. Because we have this lip, it should mean that one of our challenges was always you know, all the packing cubes, things like that, blocking the tambour door from opening and closing. What this means is actually that tambour door has a little bit of a protective wall now, so nothing should technically stop it opening. The amount of times we've struggled with that door, and they're not the best quality, they're actually really poor quality. A Bus and Beyond had trouble with their tambour door, and I've seen it and heard of it a couple more times, where the tambour door breaks and the sellotape, in essence, which is all that's holding it together, comes apart. So we're always incredibly careful of ours. So this is going to give us a huge amount of peace of mind. So put it the right way round to begin with, and then we're going back in. Back in we go. fold that in. Now the challenge we've got is, because we've got the cable there, tuck that behind it. And then that looks roughly about right. Let's just check. 13.5 would put it a bit further along. Can we do that yet? A little bit, because we do have the little round hole there. So if we move that along a bit more, that should probably do it. And then what I can do for ease, so you can actually use the tambour door as our vertical reference, actually, which is lovely. So let's have a look here. Let's vertical reference there. Let's go with that. Okay. So now that should be a decent 13.5. Lovely. 13.5. 13.5, maybe, kind of. Okay. So that's that bit done. And then there's one more. This one. So, a couple more command strips to go. So we just line up the hole on this one. Position the front edge of B against the lower door hinge. Excellent. So that's nice and simple. So if I now use my trusty handy cam. So if we have a look here, we've got the hinges. So the idea is that it will go against the hinge itself. Okay, so the idea here is this goes right to the bottom, and that hole there goes in the middle, goes right up against as far as it can. Fully lined up. That looks about right. I can't easily see, but that'll do. Right, so with that bit now done, the next bit is to get the shelves in. The top's the smallest, middle one's the largest, and then the bottom's the medium. So if you've got a safe, something to keep in mind is you won't be able to have the medium shelf. But again, when you order, you're going to be able to specify whether or not you need or want that. So let's get this in there. And whilst I'm here, I'll get the handy cam back out. So what you can see is it slotting into place and dropping it down there. So that fits neatly there. Push it down. There you go. One shelf. And that, okay, I'm really impressed with that. Look, so I was expecting some kind of rattle. That is secure as anything now. That's brilliant. Okay, so the next one was the largest. So in it goes. Again, fits there, slides down over that bit. Well, these are secure as anything, and I love the storage now. This is brilliant. So last one going in. Now how do I get that round? Oh, that's easy enough. And then that sits there. Okay, and then the last bit. We've got the ropes, the bungee cord bits. So all three are the same length. It's just a case of using the little screws, sticking them on the top, and screwing from underneath. Always helps if you go the right way. Lefty tighty, righty tighty, lefty righty tighty, lefty loosey, righty tighty, unless you're upside down. Honestly, I'm an adult. I am grown up. Oh, I've got a shelf to put things on now. done all of the shelves in with their respective bungee cords. So, gives you an idea of the strength there. Ooh. And it turns into a musical instrument. Oh, the kids are gonna love this. So it's been a couple of days since we installed the shelves, and for continuity's sake, I'm wearing the same clothes. So I'm not a scummy whatnot. I have to be honest, they've been brilliant. I'm staring at a door right now, so let me just open them up and then you can actually see. So what we've done is we've actually got some anti-slip mats. We've gone for nice and colourful black ones because, you know, black van, black seats, let's go for black shelves. And they've been brilliant. They've kept everything in place, and we've just affixed them through the mounting holes for the bungee cord themselves, so they're nice and secure, and they're not going to slip off either. So that's been that piece. The other thing we've done is that the light in the top corner here is just a small halogen light, and it doesn't really have much gusto. So what we've done is we've installed these magnetic LED lights, and they're brilliant because they're remote controlled and USB-C charged lights. But the brilliant thing is that they're motion controlled, obviously, but also you can, with a click of a remote, turn everything on all at once. So we've got one on each shelf, so 4 in total. Well, I say 4, one in the top, one on the first shelf, one on the second shelf, one on the third shelf, which lights up the base, and with the 5th one that you get in the box, we actually put it in the under seat drawer, with the whole principle of, obviously there's no light there when you open it up other than any ambient light, so it just helps a little bit there. And for anyone who's interested in them, whether you've got Yes Campervan shelves or otherwise, I'll throw a link below because I have to be honest, they're pretty decent. The other benefit with them is I don't know if you've used the cupboards under the sink and the stove with the cupboard light, but it's pathetic. So we're tempted to actually get some more there, and one for each cupboard, just to give us that little bit more. So that's it. That's our Yes Campervan shelves in. So I'd just like to take a moment and thank Yes Campervan for making this video possible, because if it wasn't for them and this shelf, well, we would have been still battling our packing cubes. And if you guys are interested in some shelves for yourselves, do reach out to Joe at Yes Campervan, or visit the website and you'll be able to order straight from there. And I still don't know why I keep looking in this shelf, because it's not changed in the past 10 minutes. Thanks all, see you next time.